Good evening, Ethan back for a review. Not a beer review this time, but a whiskey review. I'm going to be reviewing Jack Daniel's Tennessee Sour Mash Whiskey, distilled and bottled by Jack Daniel Distillery. Jasper Newton Jack Daniel. Here at the Jack Daniel Distillery, we're proud to honor the independence and integrity of the man who established our distillery at the Cave Spring Hollow. True to Mr. Jack's whiskey making tradition, we still mellow our whiskey drop by drop and stand by Jack's charge. Every day we make it, we'll make it the best we can. Quality craftsmanship since 1866. This is 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof. I believe at one time it was 46% or 46 or 45% alcohol, 86 proof, or actually 90 proof. 45 would be 90 proof. At one time it was that. Lynchburg, Tennessee. I've heard of Lynchburg, Virginia, but not Lynchburg, Tennessee. Mellowed for smoothness, drop by drop through sugar maple charcoal. Matured for character in our own handcrafted barrels. Tasted for flavor by masters until deemed ready. 7 gold medals since 1904 for quality and distinction. Jack Daniel Distillery out of Lynchburg, Tennessee. I've had this before. Obviously, I've had the majority of this bottle. I got this back in October. Here we are in the middle of December, so had it quite a while. Go ahead and try it on camera and review it. All right, it pours a light golden sort of caramel appearance. You can see through it, very minimal bubbles, as most liquor has or doesn't have. I can see some alcohol legs on the glass, sort of a hazy dripping effect. Almost looks like maybe like sleet or freezing rain on a window pane. This alcohol legs that's what kind of reminds me of. The aroma is sort of a pungent alcohol, caramel, sweet corn aroma. Mostly getting a strong alcohol on the nose, a little bit of corn perhaps. It's a nice kind of all around whiskey aroma. Kind of smells a lot similar to Jim Beam, Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey. Alcohol legs are forming on the glass, kind of dripping down with that trademark appearance. Let's go ahead and try it. Ooh. This will clear you out. Kind of has that typical trademark caramel sweetness, corn sweetness of a American whiskey. Jack Daniel's is, one of the most popular whiskey brands in the United States and all over the world, really. I think it might be the number one seller, actually. I know Crown Royal is the number one Canadian seller of whiskey. Jim Beam, I know, is up there for American whiskeys. I know Jack Daniel is probably top 3. It might be number 1, I'm not sure. But it has a nice, smooth, sweet flavor. A lot of whiskeys have a sort of a overwhelming alcohol burn in the flavor. Jack Daniel's, while it does have that, it's maybe not as upfront, and you do get sort of that sweetness to help balance the alcohol burn that you get at 80 proof. 40% alcohol is up there. There's a reason why people pour this much liquor versus this much beer, because it's potent with this high of an alcohol. You want to be careful and take your time sipping. It has that burning, warming sensation going down the throat as you swallow. typical of a whiskey, a bourbon, a scotch. Never had scotch, but there's always a first, right? This has a nice whiskey flavor, all around kind of mellow, kind of a trademark traditional whiskey flavor. It's popular for a reason. It's smooth, it's tasty, it's sweet. A lot of people probably mix it with Coke. I've mixed whiskey with Diet Coke, not regular Coke. I do like Diet Coke better, and I think Diet Coke and whiskey go well. But generally, I will try this neat. Anytime I drink whiskey, which is not often. I'm more of a beer drinker than a whiskey drinker, but I thought it'd be fun to do this for a review. And I will generally drink it neat. I just think that's the best way to taste the flavors in a whiskey. That's the best way to sort of experience its full extent and its full flavor, drinking it neat. With ice, obviously, on the rocks, it would help us cut some of the alcohol burn, perhaps, and that will probably make for a better drinking experience. But for the purpose of a review, most people, and I would definitely prefer to drink it neat. When I drink whiskey again, I usually drink it neat. What would I score this? I don't know if I like it better than Jim Beam. It's been too long since I've had the Jim Beam. Been a couple months now, but Jack Daniel's, it's not the cheapest, but it's not the most expensive. You are paying for the name somewhat. Jack Daniel's is a famous, world famous brand, world famous distillery. So you are paying for that, but again, it's not the most expensive, and it is a good whiskey for the price. For a 750, I believe, milliliter bottle like this, it's anywhere from $15 to $20 per bottle. So not the most expensive, but definitely not the cheapest either. I would give this a 92 out of 100. I haven't had a lot of whiskeys. I'm still kind of a novice, and I drink more beer than I do whiskey. But for the few whiskeys that I've had, this is comparable to Crown Royal. It's comparable to Rich and Rare, Reserve, Canadian. It's comparable to Jim Beam. It's comparable to what are some others I've had? I guess that's about it recently. But this is comparable to those, if not possibly better. It's a great, whiskey. It's a classic brand. 92 out of 100 for Jack Daniel's. Most people who review beer and whiskey have probably had it many times, but if you haven't, buy it, give it a try. It's enjoyable, especially on a cool kind of a winter evening. I would prefer to drink, whiskey and liquor in cold weather when I do drink it, which is not often, probably, once every month. I think my last review for whiskey was like Southern Comfort or maybe Jim Beam. So it's not often, again, but when I do drink it, this would be something I'd go for. It's great. It's relatively affordable. You can find it anywhere, everywhere. This is prevalent as bottled water almost. Any liquor store will sell this in a 750 or 1500 milliliter bottle. You can even get the little airplane bottles as well. I don't make a lot of whiskey reviews, but here's one. My take on Jack Daniel's, a 92 out of 100. It's a solid whiskey, but again, not a lot of whiskeys I've had, but hey, there's always a first time. There could possibly be more whiskey reviews in the future. Cheers, and thank you for watching.